pandemic is actually over. I think we heard enough about the pandemic and how we muddled through all of this. Fortunately, we all survived. So if the pandemic is over, what's next? Can we get on with life? Some of you might think it was reckless, but it just goes to show that it is possible when you make up your mind. So I have the privilege today of moderating the session with two extraordinary individuals who exemplify resilience and endurance. I'd like to invite them on the stage. Come on over. Sunil Randhawa is a software engineer in Amazon, and Mr. Raj Shah, who's an entrepreneur formerly from Google and Apple. And these two gentlemen also have had, I'll ask them to tell you about the stories. They're both hikers, bikers, and runners extraordinaire.
I'm Sunit Randhawa, and I'm here to share a life lesson with you all. The lesson of my life story is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm sure you must have heard about this, but that really applied to me. So I'm going to share what happened and how it applied. So this is, I had a skiing tragedy in 2011, and I had a complete ACL tear. My doctor said, you have to get surgery done and in order for you to be active, in order for you to continue doing your activities. And I felt like I just started my life. I wanted to be active. I wanted to be on the slopes of the hills while skiing or doing other activities. I felt so low that I don't know what to do. But I did not give up. Although surgery was one route, and there was not enough data on the internet or even with doctors that how would you fix it without the surgery? And I embarked over a plan. I had a bit of a self-confidence in myself. I had that feel like the body can self-heal if given in the right direction. You can overcome. And personally, I'm always scared of surgery, so I did not go in that direction. So I fixed with physical therapy, yoga, positivity, and discipline. And I'll go a little bit deeper how I did it. So when I started that, I believed in one thing and one thing only. And Dr. Ram was also mentioning about that. That's the power of consistency. The power of consistency, once it starts bringing results, it just makes you more stronger and keep on doing what you're doing on a daily basis. So what I did in the power of consistency from this standpoint, I did 3 times a week muscle strengthening exercises, 15 to 30 minutes of yoga every day for stretching, 2 times a week running, walking, and biking. I know it sounds a lot, but I think we owe ourselves at least 1 hour a day for good physical activity. And that 1 hour would condition your body, that will make you both mentally and physically active. So they both are connected to each other. And that's what brought consistency in me. So when I started doing that, what happened to you as an accident, you always are fearful that can happen again. And that's important for you to overcome that fear also. And I overcame it with the going back to the skiing slopes, and with the fear, overcame the fear of falling again. And this was right before the pandemic. In October 2019, I climbed Everest Base Camp, and it was a great experience. And I'm motivating other folks also to go there. But the bottom line is, I was able to strengthen my muscles around my ACL tear to the level like I was actually stronger than before. So I did not even feel like I had any problem. And one thing led to the other. And I started loving outdoors, nature. And instead of walking, I started running actually. You must have watched the movie Forrest Gump. And somebody asked, like, why did you start running? So I just started running. So that's what happened. I just started running. And the numbers kept on improving for me. As I was growing older, it was in the opposite way. Like I would be slower, but no, I was getting faster. So I started participating in marathons. So in 2020, my half marathons pace was 1 hour 59 minutes, which was 9 minutes a mile. And you just have to have that consistency and discipline in you. So I also participated this year in one of the toughest bike rides, wherein this was a century ride. You want to do more, and sky is the limit. You don't have to stop on things. You can challenge yourself with more and more things, but you have to be careful also. It's not like blindly you're doing it. You know your body, and based on that, I'm going to quickly go over some of my key learnings, my life lessons. Some of my key learnings I want to share with you all is body has a self-healing power. But you have to measure your progress daily. Whatever you're doing, you have a way to measure it. But at the same time, if you have a physical injury or some injury, always keep your physician involved. And that's why Dr. Ram is next to me. Start any initiative with baby steps. We have a goal to climb something, right?
It's not bad enough for me to put a stent in that artery. But I have 3 more meds to try. That's why I said, what the hell is this? I mean, 7 meds and you're still talking about trial and error? Okay. So I said, I have to look for some alternatives. Fortunately, I found out about somebody who was helping people get off of meds through lifestyle changes. But before that, let's go through other things. So diabetes has slowly progressed for me. I was at A1C of 7.3. Was taking 3 metformins. Don't need any ED medication either. So that's continuing. Now the question is, how did I do it? Okay. I joined a program called Make My Health, run by an IIT Kanpur alumni, Lalit Kapoor. And the philosophy is simple, and I think some of the speakers talked about this. The body is the best self-healing, self-regulating machine in the world. But you have to let it detox, and you have to give it good nutrients. Okay. So my changes are, for the detox part, you have to give your body organs rest. If you eat all the time, you're making the body work all the time. And primarily, anytime you eat, the body has to increase insulin. If the insulin levels stay high all the time, it causes all kinds of havoc in the body. So limiting eating to 8 hours a day or less was a big change. Sleep. Sleep is another way a body recuperates. And the second part is to, change what you eat. So I moved fully to plant-based whole food, which meant no animal products, no processed sugar, 0 or minimal oil. Stay active. We talked about 10,000 steps per day. Okay, that's minimum. Yoga and meditation, very important parts for your lifestyle changes. Okay. So I made all these changes in terms of replenish the body with nutrients, increase consumption of vegetables and fruits, eat more vegetables, green juice, not smoothies. So the green juice that's out there, there's one thing I don't do, which is I don't put any fruits. Because fruit should always be, as I understand, fruit should always be eaten, no fruit juices. Okay? And as was talked about earlier, always include berries in your fruits. Eat from all these 5 categories: vegetables, fruits, beans, legumes, grains, and nuts. And you eat equally from them in terms of calories, not by weight. So, nuts are extremely high in calories, so less amount of nuts, but always include them. But fruits and vegetables are low in calories, so you can have a lot more of that, and must have a lot more of them. Okay. Herbs and spices are all very, very healthy, so include as many as you can. Variety is really, really the key. And in this kind of a program, there was no need for me to count on calories or carbs. Okay. If you eat only 8 hours or less a day, it actually automatically controls your calories and carbs. All right. Now, I did some advanced work also, wasn't required before I reversed my diseases. But I bring this up because of the question about endurance, which is advanced fasting. So, in fasting has tremendous benefits. He runs this, you're going to hear from him later. He and his staff has helped us tremendously in a group of 15 or 16 of us, 8-day fast last year and this year. And we got, thank you very much for that. So we talk about, okay, went too fast. Okay, endurance. Since this is a topic on endurance, the few things I learned to be able to sustain these changes. Number one is pole pole. This is Swahili for slowly, slowly, or dire dire. This is while climbing Kilimanjaro, our coaches told us, don't go too fast. And in fact, I've learned this in many places. If you go at 100% of your capacity, you can only go so long. But if you sort of go down at 80 to 85% of your capacity, you can go much longer. In fact, my yoga teachers also tell me that. If you can stretch this much, go a little bit less, but stay there longer in that position. I've learned that to be true in many facets of life. The other part is, educate yourself. If you know why you're doing something, it's a lot easier to stay with it. Okay, a simple example. I tried intermittent fasting several years ago, but that time I thought intermittent fasting was all about calorie control. Now, if you're doing that in the morning, if you feel like a small cup of tea without a little bit of milk, then you will say, oh, that's just 25, 30 calories. That shouldn't affect my intermittent fasting. But what I understand now is that intermittent fasting is a way to maintain an environment of your body for low levels of insulin. Because high levels of insulin, if you eat all the time, insulin is high all the time, it creates a lot of havoc. But the way to reverse that is to have low levels of insulin for an extended period of time. So even if you eat just 50 calories, the body gets a signal that, hey, there is food coming. So it actually raises the insulin level. So that low insulin level flow is broken. So if you understand that, then it's easy to resist the temptation for a small amount of calories and maintain your fast. Okay. Be very clear about your purpose. So in my case, it wasn't about weight loss. It was really about reversing my chronic diseases. So when you have that, again, anytime there's a temptation to break what you're doing, reminding yourself of the purpose helps you. Now, in spite of all of this, you will fall off the wagon. You are human. Okay? Be compassionate to yourself. Take a break. In my case, not just in this, in everything else, when this happens, I say, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, or go through the day. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to get back at it again. And that has worked for me. Baby steps or giant steps. That really depends on you. There's two schools of thoughts. One is, if you make small number of changes, you may not see the benefits and you'll get discouraged. Another school of thought is, take a large number of steps, do a lot of things, and then you will see benefits. In my case, that's what happened to me. I made massive changes. Now, in each of the dimensions, you may take baby steps. For instance, going from eating all the time to eating only 8 hours a day, I didn't do it overnight. I went from, stopped eating late in the night, so it became 12 hours of fast. I exercised my free will, but kept them involved.
Great. Thank you for sharing the information. I'm sure, the points that he mentioned were mentioned earlier by others, and a lot of it is common knowledge, and most people know. The challenge that most people have is, how do you stay on track? How do you keep yourself from falling off the track?
I can take that.
Okay.
So, yeah, life throws curveball at you all the time, right? So if you have put like a discipline in yourself, like I want to do this thing 3 times a week or 4 times a week, yes, there would be parties coming in, there would be some other event coming in, but then whenever that thing happens and you find a gap, you have to quickly overcome that gap. If you let that gap go away for, let's say, 1 week, 2 weeks, you have to restart again. So restarting again brings more effort rather than continuing the effort. So I always believed in that, like, why to restart when you can just climb the next stair? So from the endurance perspective, like if you want to improve your speed in walking, if you want to improve your speed in running or biking or whatever you want to do, you cannot just increase that taking 1 week break or 2 week break and then again back wearing your running shoes and then out there doing that thing. So your body is always built on a rhythm, and we know what the rhythm is all about. The rhythm of our beating of our heart, the rhythm of our breathing. So the same thing, the discipline also is a rhythm. And if you have a gap, quickly come back. Don't let it prolong. And next time, possibly do it a little bit more than that, so that you gain your confidence and continue your journey.
So, three points I'd like to make. The first point is what I made earlier, but I'll repeat that. Support group is very, very helpful. And in my support group, I admit to people, look, I fell off the wagon. I stopped doing this, but I'm making a commitment to you as my friends and supporters to get back on. Okay. Number two, I recognize something about myself, which I call the first drink phenomena. Now, if you know of anybody who is a recovering alcoholic, they advise them, resist the first drink, because once you give into the first drink, the temptation for the second drink and the third drink are so much bigger that you won't be able to resist. I found the same thing about myself. If I feel like cheating, and I say, oh, my biggest weakness is late night cravings. We're watching a TV show or a game, I feel like snacking. Even if the snacks are healthy, like peanuts or something else, I say, hey, what is a few nuts going to do? But I have observed that the first, it is easier to manage the temptation for the first few nuts. But once I have the first few nuts, I cannot stop myself. The temptation for more is extremely high. So just recognizing that helps me stay on track. And the final point is, you're a human. Accept that you're going to fall off the track.